Have you ever been there? You know the feeling. The room is dead quiet, so quiet you can practically hear your own heartbeat. Just an hour ago, everything seemed totally fine, and now it's just nothing. The person right there with you won't look at you, won't answer you. It's like you're a ghost.
Yeah, it's a silence that's so loud it feels like it has a physical weight pressing down on you. And without a single word being spoken, a message is being screamed right at you. You don't matter. And what's the craziest part? You start scrambling, thinking you need to apologize. For what? You're not even sure. But you'll do it, won't you? Because almost anything feels better than being crushed by that silence.
Well, that whole dynamic, it ends today. I promise you. By the end of this explainer, you're going to understand exactly what this tactic is, why it feels so incredibly powerful, and, most importantly, how to take all of that power back. Because once you can name it, it just can't touch you in the same way ever again. Okay, let's dive right in and talk about what this is, because honestly, most people get it wrong. They think the silent treatment is just someone being angry or, needing a little space to cool off. It's not. It's not even really about the argument you might have just had. Psychologists have a clinical name for this. They call it ostracism. And the key word there, the one you really need to hear, is deliberate. This isn't some accident. It's not just an emotional reflex. It is a conscious, chosen act of making someone feel like they don't even exist. And right here, this is the crucial difference. Look, needing to cool down is temporary, and the whole point is to solve the problem. The silent treatment, on the other hand, can go on forever, and its goal is to punish you until you give in. One is healthy conflict management, the other is a straight-up tool for control. So why does this hurt so much? Why does it feel so uniquely awful? Well, the reason is kind of startling, and it has absolutely nothing to do with you being too sensitive. The real answer, it's in our biology. So there's this researcher, Kipling Williams, at Purdue University, who spent decades studying this stuff, and what he found was frankly disturbing. He discovered that when you're being ignored, your brain lights up in a very, very specific way. It actually activates the exact same neural pathways as physical pain. Just let that sink in for a second. We're not talking about similar pathways. We're talking about the same ones. To your brain, there is literally no difference between the social pain of being iced out and the physical pain of, say, breaking your arm. And there's a deep evolutionary reason for this super intense reaction. Think about it. For most of human history, if you were cast out from your tribe, you were dead. It was a death sentence. So your brain is hardwired to process being excluded as a direct five-alarm threat to your survival. So here's the takeaway. That wave of panic you feel, that desperate, gut-wrenching urge to fix it right now, that is not a personal weakness. That is a primal, biological survival alarm blaring inside your head. It feels biological because it absolutely is. All right, so now that we get the biology, let's zoom out and look at the pattern. Because this weapon, it doesn't just show up in one place. Once you learn to see the pattern of control for what it is, you'll start recognizing it everywhere, from your closest relationships to your job. Think about it. In a romantic relationship, silence is used to train you to give up your own needs just to keep the peace. When a parent uses it, it conditions a child to be constantly anxious, always scanning for signs of disapproval. And at work, it's a sneaky tool to enforce compliance without ever leaving a paper trail for HR. Now, the damage from this is most profound when it starts in childhood. So how exactly does this conditioning get locked in so deep that it ends up shaping our entire view of what relationships are supposed to be? Well, when a parent or a caregiver uses silence as a punishment, it teaches a kid three incredibly damaging core beliefs that can stick around for a lifetime. Number one, my needs are dangerous because if I express them, I get abandoned. 2, love is conditional. I have to earn it, I have to perform for it. And 3, silence means I've done something wrong, I have failed. And the long-term impact of this is just staggering. Research shows that people who experience this kind of parental ostracism are 3 times more likely to put up with it in their adult relationships. And it's not because they're weak. It's because they were calibrated for it. They were literally taught that this is what love looks like, this awful cycle of silence and pursuit. Okay, so we've named the tactic, we understand the biology, we see the pattern. Now for the most important part of all. How in the world do you break this cycle? How do you finally strip this weapon of all its power? This is it. This is the most powerful realization you can have. You cannot control whether someone else chooses to use silence against you. That is 100% their choice. But, and this is everything, you have absolute control over your response. And that, right there, is where all their power just completely collapses.
It really comes down to a simple 3-step process. Step 1 is to recognize. See the silence for exactly what it is, a power play, a tactic for control. It has nothing to do with your worth. Step 2, regulate. Just breathe. You have to refuse to participate in the panic. And step 3, state your boundary. You do this calmly and you do it only once. I'm here and available to talk whenever you're ready. And then you walk away. You let it go.
I want you to remember this. The silent treatment is a performance, and every performance requires an audience. It literally feeds on your panic, your pleading, your desperate apologies. The moment you take that away, what's left? Just a person, sitting alone in a room, waiting for a reaction that is never going to come. In that moment, the weapon is useless, and the power, it's yours.